What's up, everybody? Welcome back to your favorite wrestling podcast. It is the Monday Night Wave, baby. And we back. We back with another one of them things, another one of these great grappling episodes full of wrestle talk this week. A lot of wrestle talk this week. But before we get into that, I'm going to introduce myself. I'll go by Jay, a.k.a. Podbreaker, Podman Page, Podwell Jacob Freeman, because I pod better than you and you know it, a.k.a. Mr. Respected Jumpers in the building. Ladies and gentlemen, we're here. But we're back to the original duo. And I could be nothing without my man, the one, the only, the Quattro, Mr. Jericho himself. Please take it away.
Magnus, let me help you. Open your mind. For that, he is a wild card. He is the king of gorgeous. He is Mr. Sexy Ass Lottery. He is hero, and I am he. And for those uneducated, that was my Charles Xavier from the 1990s cartoon.
That's funny as fuck.
To me, my wavemen.
But
like Jay said, our third, the other waveman, the tribal meat. He's not here. DT, he ain't here, but he did give me something to read. So I'm gonna read his intro.
Okay.
It's your boy, the third Mike, the OTC, the other co-host, the true sayer, the clairvoyant one, the foreseer of Monday Night Wave, the Quentin Miller of the WWE writers' room.
Damn.
As I take my regularly scheduled vacation time, I wanted to say that I will be back soon. Yeah, me. All right.
Okay. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, the man DT is not in this episode. He's out there, just living life, getting his Heyman arm strong. That's what he's doing right now.
That's my job. But I respect it. Sometimes you got to work yourself up.
You just need a strong grip on life, like a good old Heyman hand. That's what it is.
Dude, Heyman hand, that is such a good name for a sex toy. Oh my god. that is TM copyright. Hey.
Heyman hand. Yo, what the fuck? That is funny as shit, yo. Oh, fuck. Oh, man, we're going to make a lot of money off of that. That's crazy. Get your tribal meat right with a Heyman hand. Use code WAVE.
Code WAV.
Oh, fuck. That's funny. Oh, shit, yo. Oh, I got to recollect myself. I did not expect that one. That's a good one. Okay. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we got to get into the news here.
Yep.
First things first, we're going to send, thoughts and prayers out to Ray. We found out that he had tore his abductor, which kind of prevented him from being in Mania. So, shout out to Ray. We looking at you, boy.
It's good it was in his knee. Yeah, it's good.
Absolutely.
Good it was in his knee. I mean, groin, like abduct. That's in the groin area, isn't it? Abductor,
yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Abductor's like upper leg, yeah.
Yeah, that still sucks, but yeah, as long as it wasn't those knees, man.
For sure. Liv Morgan is starring in Takahashi Mike's Bad Lieutenant Tokyo film, which is supposed to be viewed at the Cannes Film Festival. So she's out filming right now. It's an international movie. When I looked up the Takahashi Mike, he's huge. Like he does a lot of like movies. He's from what I've seen, he kind of specializes in a lot of like the live action anime movies. I know he has like a JoJo's movie out there, and they're really like solid from what I was gathering. So shout out to Liv. Shout out to Liv for sure.
Hell yeah, that's a cool role. Is this also based off a manga and or anime?
I don't know. I couldn't find anything about it.
Okay, because I just got Crunchyroll a couple months ago. I'll pull up on that.
For sure.
But
speaking of residencies, not residencies, but international.
Okay. I have a question though, real quick.
Yeah.
With the tag, with Liv being on a movie leave, do you find it a problem that the tag team titles won't be defended. Because I've seen some backlash. I've seen some people be like, "It's fine, it's whatever." Especially when since they did get rid of some people, so the division is
Here
still
we go.
it's kind of bleak.
I would have had we're gonna get to the reason why I'm not
Yeah.
really all that tripping right now.
Okay.
But
All right.
yeah.
Okay. All right.
Crown Jewel is announced for Perth, Australia, October 11th. And if I'm not mistaken, Crown Jewel is usually the one in Saudi, right? Like that's
Yes.
usually what
Yeah. So
happens here.
as of right now, there is 0 Saudi shows of 2025.
Which
So
means somebody's
protesters,
catching a
we won. We no.
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 Something big's coming.
Yeah,
Pause.
no. The prince is about to get a 3-night mania or some shit.
Yeah. Survivor Series might be in Saudi. Something's happening. Also inside the same traveling for wrestling, AEW gets residency in the 2300 arena, which is looks like the former ACW or ECW arena for 7 dates.
It is, yes.
So they blacked out 7 dates in Philly. I think the last time they did the residency was in Texas, and it did pretty well. People love the intimate venue that they had. I think it was the Eastport Arena in Dallas or somewhere around there.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very excited to see how this one plays out. Also, shout out to them. We didn't mention it last week, but they sold out the CMLL show in Mexico. So that's a big up to them too for knocking out that arena.
Mm-hmm.
I was watching some CMLL last week, and they were doing it in that arena. That arena is beautiful. That's a really dope arena. So I'm excited to see what that show looks like.
Yeah, I think the residency is cool. Last time they were the ECW arena, I want to say it was around November or so. It was whenever they had that Effie, that stuff with Effie. It looked good. Obviously the East Coast, the Philadelphia fan base, they love wrestling. There's a huge history of wrestling there. And the territory days. I have a minor concern, and that minor concern is, granted, they did do well in the Texas Esport one. I feel like this one is, and I mean, I might be wrong, but I feel like this one has more dates, and I just fear the possibility of burnout. So maybe some of the shows won't be as packed as they could be because people got to go to work, and it's I could only I can't see Dynamite three weeks in a row. I got kids to feed, type of thing. So that's my only concern, is that there might be possible wrestling fatigue in that community, so they don't want to see it. But I'm sure that, and this is not a knock, I'm sure the tickets are going to be they ain't going to be Mania prices or even SummerSlam prices that we talking about. So that's my concern. But
that's a good concern.
Yeah,
7 days in one place is pretty long.
Yeah. But I mean, they still got a crazy fan base. There's again, East Coast as a whole, Philadelphia as a whole. I mean, New Jersey's just right there, New York is right there, so fans could travel, depending on the show. And one of those shows is also a Ring of Honor pay-per-view, so I'm assuming people are going to want to travel to see that.
And it's also when I'm thinking about residency, I'm thinking about how they do it in Vegas, where Usher was out there and whatnot, to where you still have diehard fans who did go and see Usher multiple times.
Yeah.
And that's just one performer. The thing that kind of benefits wrestling is that you can do multiple performers on different days and whatnot. So they do have that kind of leverage, but you are right as far as you can get tired of seeing wrestling, especially for the shows where 2-3 hour shows and whatnot.
Yeah,
including that they film ROH and whatnot.
Right, and in some residencies work, when when old TNA did it, or when they used to film at Universal Studios and stuff.
Yeah,
those work, and those worked for a multitude of reasons, but one of them is that you're always getting new people in, because it's just a revolving door. With this, it's man, do I want to catch the bus to go to Philly today, or type of thing? But I still think it could work. But I
think there's something bigger here too, and this could just be me speculating. But do you think that they're testing out residencies to kind of build their NXT, testing out which area that they can really set their base in and have a ROH headquarters or whatever?
I mean, I think that's highly plausible. I would assume, though, if anything, it would be a Jacksonville. But I mean, that's a possibility. I mean, I would say Jacksonville or Cali would be two really good choices. just because they don't go to California that much. But like Young Bucks and shit are from there and whatnot. But yeah, I mean Jacksonville, like worst case, like let's say we have another pandemic, they're gonna be in Daly's place again. So
Right.
I would,
It's just interesting because when you do like residencies like that, you're looking at like the analytics and trajectory of like how big are we here, how much pull do we have, and to do it in Dallas, do it in Philly, you're just getting a lot of information. So they're planning for something. I don't know what, but they're doing this for a reason. Speaking of like ticket sales and whatnot, SummerSlam, $40,000 ticket package sold out, $40K. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you're probably wondering what the hell could WWE give you for $40,000? And I have it right here. For $40,000, you get front row seating at SummerSlam, in-ring photo op, private transportation to the stadium, a welcoming event, private section at pre-show featuring Kevin Nash and other superstars, post-show press access, a desk photo op from the press conferences and whatnot, tickets to both nights of SummerSlam, Raw, and Smackdown. Now, there's also a Laura Lester package for $33K as well that has same, but like some of the same offers. But yes, the $40K packages have sold out. I know when I see my initial reaction was the Chris Tucker,
yeah,
rush hour meme.
Kidnap Chelsea Clinton.
We got Chelsea Clinton $40,000. And $40K is just a lot of it's a lot of money, man. I don't know if there's anything WWE could do that would make $40K worth it for me. I would have to write the ending to the Tribal Chief.
I would have to be Seth's coat. You got me and I'm not even gonna pause that. I mean, I should, but I'm not. No, those prices are really like that. That price is really wild, and it's gonna be like, who's gonna pay that? Obviously, people are paying that. They shouldn't, but then again, like it's one of those things where, like how many times you brought it up when we were talking about video games, where it's like, GTA 5 came out on how many systems? People still bought it for every same with Last of Us. I know I was part of the problem. I bought Last of Us like 4 different times, for what, and they just made another thing where it's like you can get both games on one CD now. It's like, well, I already have both games.
I already have it.
Like, just make a new game. So yeah, people are going to pay it, but it's absolutely ridiculous. And you asked this question, I want to say it was last year, about like the possibility of fans being priced out, and then you re-asked it once like this latest Mania Vegas one came out with prices, and it seems more and more like that question is coming into fruition, especially with because when you ask those questions, like back then when you asked that question, like we didn't have the tariffs yet, like we didn't have all this other $17 eggs and shit like that, like depending on where you live. So yeah, I mean, and it's for the city of where these places are hosted. I believe this SummerSlam is in Indy, right?
No, Jersey.
Yeah. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I don't know shit about Jersey. I know you could like drive for an hour and you probably will reach the end of the state. So I don't know how crazy, like how like much needed transportation is. I don't know why I thought this was in Indy. That was last year's SummerSlam, I think. Or was that the Royal Rumble? I think that was the Royal Rumble.
It was Rumble.
Yeah. But they plan to have a SummerSlam there in Lucas. I think it's like 3 years from now or something, because they already... Anyway, because the reason I was bringing it up, because I've been to Indy and that transportation is horrible there. So that's why I thought... Anyway, but yeah, Jersey. Having a shuttle take you, that is cool. Like, all those pictures is cool, but like, I don't know, man. That's not like... You could get a fixer-upper, you know what I'm saying? Like, you could buy...
You're talking about a house. Yeah, you're talking about a house. I think you're talking about a car. You can get way more than
a
fixer-upper for $40,000.
Yeah.
$40K is like, that's like tuition, bro. Like, that's crazy. Yeah, I think they get away with it because Jersey's close to New York. So, New York got big bread. You're kind of leaning into like the New York like popularity coming to SummerSlam. Yeah. But... And this Philly, is my issue. Philly.
It's right there.
The East Coast is right there. The issue is the pricing out, but also like this shit is. I feel like it's impacting the crowds, bro. I feel like we are not getting as live crowds from WWE because like these people can't afford these tickets. The regular fans can't afford these tickets. And so we have big moments and big matches and like the crowd is just not in it. And so when you're at home watching it and the crowd is just like crickets, it makes it seem like everything fell flat. And that can make it look like the performance didn't perform well or the production or the writing wasn't well. And it's just not that. It's just that you just got the wrong people in the building.
Yeah, and sometimes sometimes they don't turn the ring or they don't turn the mics up. Like with Mania 2, like the crowd was louder, even though the work rate matches or like the matches were better, but like you could tell like that they fucked with the sound production a little bit to make it louder. But no, I think you're right, and I honestly I think it has like a lot of effects. Like when we were having the conversation, about like why do fans cheer for like the heels even though they also love the baby face that's getting beat up. I think that's a part of it too, because I think
it's crazy.
It's not even just like in DT's right where we just like, yeah, people just want to see violence, but also I think a part of it is the fact that like I paid all this money, I'm screaming all goddamn day, I don't give a shit. Like I think that's a part of it too. But also at the same time, you're right where there's like we've seen certain shows where it's like it sounds like the crowd is quiet. So and like I think, bro, I honestly I feel like there could be a really nice ass TED Talk essay about this, about like the pricing and how it's affecting different things. Because yeah, I think both things are true. Like I think there are people who's like I pay this much money to bring my son here. We are yelling at every single character. We are cheering every single character. If I see a spear, I'm gonna say one more time 3 times because I want to see it one more time at least twice. Like so, you gotta. I think it's all of it.
Last week or was it this week where like I think Seth did the stomp and they started singing his song. Yeah, he's the bad guy. Yeah, he's the heel, and they out there just singing his shit, yo. I'm like
that's how the show ended. And the crowd. Oh man, we'll talk about it because the crowd actually did something interesting with that shit too. But yeah, like during that, like people love I love Sami Zayn, and people were like, spear him one more time. Like they kept chanting one more time. Like so, yeah. I mean, I think the pricing, besides like. And you can also bring in the technology into it and like how crowds are just smarter, blah, blah, blah. You can bring a lot into it, but yeah, like I think it's affecting the way we view this shit as an audience, whether it's in person or in TV.
To be fair, like it also like, WWE's not holding anything back either. When you have like the producer show coming out, when you have John Cena saying it's all fake, or when you have, but not fake, but he says I'm not a heel or a face. It's like, they're peeling
the Rock is like it's work, buddy. It's always been a work, but
yeah, it's a work. Yeah, like everybody from that side is letting you know, like, hey, bro, it's not that serious. Just be a fan. Yeah. It's like, yeah, I know that, fool. We've all known that it's not real, but it's like that doesn't make it any less or more enjoyable when you guys are also like, it's not real. Then why should I be connected to it?
Right, and I feel like because of that also, since they're saying, oh, it's not real. Then if that's the case, then I'm a cheer for a Dom, even though we're supposed to boo him. Or like, I mean, like everyone is getting like the only person who doesn't get cheered are people who don't recognize the music or Logan Paul. Everyone, and this is almost or Bianca. Yeah, that might be racial undertones. But as far as like if you look at every company, like we talked about with MJF, it was like, yeah, he gets booed, but at the same time they'll be like, he's our bastard, and it's like you still get Cena sucks, and then. But they're still loving the hell out of Cena, but because also it's their last time seeing Cena. So yeah, I think it affects so much, and I would love someone else, not me, to write an essay about it. And hear a TED Talk about it.
Well, in lesser news, this week was jam packed with WWE releases. There's I can't even count. I think there's at least 10 plus here. I'll start off from the top. First things first, though, like. I hope all y'all land on y'all feet somewhere. I hope there's plenty of different alternatives that y'all can go into now. Y'all don't need me to tell you that, but like I can't wait to see where y'all land. Let's just start there. And hopefully y'all, y'all got your bread and everything, and nobody's in any kind of like rush. But I do understand losing your job in this economy can be a little fucking scary. So
right.
Shout out to y'all.
Especially if you're on a visa, but we'll get into that.
Exactly, especially if you're on a visa. Braun Strowman release. Mm-hmm. This one, surprise. Braun was just, did a huge program with Bronson Reed. I thought they were going to, maybe get back to that at some point when Bronson Reed came back. Braun Braun had also he just messed up his hip or like his groin. Like was it like 2 or 3 weeks ago. Like he was used regularly.
Yeah, he's been used semi regularly. Ever since his return. Here, how about this? Why don't you do rapid fire and just name a bunch of names, and we can like have further conversation about the ones that were the most shocking. And
let's do main roster, and I'll break it to main roster and NXT. We can go from there.
Right,
Braun Strowman released, Shayna Baszler, Kaden Carter, Katana Chance, Dakota Kai are the ones on the main roster that I'm seeing here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So main roster wise, Braun surprising to me, just because he's been used. He sells the merch. The big old SOB was a thing with Pat McAfee. Kind of interesting there. I get it if he's like if it's older and like you think that he's not mobile or that you can't use him, but he was just used regularly.
Yeah.
Fuck, he was used with Jacob Fatu, right?
He put over Jacob. He helped put over Jacob. He helped put over Braun. He had that in WrestleMania 39. He had that moment where he was doing the whole run around the ring thing where Dawkins speared him. That was a cool moment.
Yeah,
you
know. Dakota Kai. This one huge on the internet, bro. Huge. I didn't know King Coda had a pull like this. Like, her fans are pissed, bro.
Okay, real quick. Let me read all of David Yawning Berg's. Let me read DT's response. Real quick.
David, yeah, okay.
Okay. Oh, man, I can't. I've been so good. I fucked that up. I can't believe I did it. As I've said many times on this pod, it's never funny when people get cut and lose their jobs. I don't know for sure if it's a product of TKO. It could be. For now, that's not my concern. I just wanted to let it be known that wrestling is so hot right now that getting cut isn't a bad thing. It's an opportunity for these people to go and get hot, work on their craft, pull up to the indies. If you really rock with some of your faves, go buy a shirt, go to the show, make a sign, cheer. As Hero knows, I'm a big fan of Shotzi. Can't wait to see what she does. She just cut a fire-ass social media promo just 2 days ago. Shout out to the ballsy one. Braun, shout out to him while working while hurt. We seen it. He put 2 monsters over. Go get healthy, big man. Jakara, I can't lie. That was some bullshit. Can't wait for you to bounce back. Dakota Kai. Eddie Thorpe, good luck. Nah, I'm just playing. Thoughts and prayers to Dakota Kai. Hopefully we see you soon. So that was his response or his umbrella response for all the releases.
with Coda, yeah, I'm thoroughly I'm anticipating where she goes, because wherever she goes, she's going to be a draw. They're going to pull to her. It's also kind of crazy because she just posted the whole like, I'm healthy, like I want to wrestle. I can't wait to wrestle again. I'm healthy, and then like 2 days later, cut. And that kind of like sparked the whole IWC benching and everything like that.
Yeah.
Also, like, with the trajectory had looked a little bit different had, Asuka and Kyrie been healthy. Like, would we have seen Damage Control out there? And this is why, like, the wrestling world it's just so interesting, because, like, injuries and shit like that can derail, like, momentum and push and shit like that. Mm-hmm. From, Dakota, Shayna. Yeah. Shayna's my dog. Love Shayna Baszler. Like, I've said it before on this pod that like that NXT run, that was her time to do it, and Vince didn't want her to do it. But she was by far the most over woman in WWE at the time. I want Shayna with. I saw somebody on Sky talked about it, and they like put her with the Ops, and I'm like, I would love that. Put her with the Marina role in Death Riders, where like you could just be the badass that you are.
Her and Marina are very close friends. I would not. I'm honestly, I dare near want to put money on it. I would not be surprised if she is a Death Rider, or if she's just like, for sure just in AEW or AEW. But
I think Shayna's like ability as far as like submissions and just being like that brutal powerhouse is like underrated to me.
Yeah.
EDM girls, Katana Chance, Kaden Carter. This one is interesting too because like they were your only true tag team, like actual tag team. That was their whole gimmick. And then we cut them, and now we have makeshift tag teams in the business right now, or like on the roster. Like nobody's a true tag team. Like we just saw that Michin and BFAB got together, but they weren't built as a tag team. We're just gonna put you guys together, kind of thing. So like, what's the reason there? We also know that, and we said on the pod before that, like they just didn't have the push. We didn't feel what their gimmick was, you know?
Yeah, I mean, and they definitely like, and some of these people, like when like all these names, like they did try with some of these people, and I feel like with these girls, they definitely tried. Like they put the titles on them, they had video packages and whatnot, but yeah, it was the lack of connection because, like, I mean, even though we're being very serious right now, but like we still call them EDM girls, or we are
Right.
our party girls, our rave girls. You know, it's like, and
Right.
granted, they have been a team for a while, like. They never got a name or even a ship name, like, you know, like people like Benifer or something like they didn't even get one of those, you know, like they was just a mouthful
like
of
merch.
names.
They didn't have like anything. They have like they had no identity besides.
It's like I make TikToks with Damian Priest and we dance, and I'm like that's cool, like, and I'm gonna miss her TikToks with Priest. But it has nothing to do with the in-ring stuff, you know. Like I don't, you know,
and not saying that they were bad in ring either, because they weren't bad in ring.
They were fine. Like I don't like they. Is it like a Rollins, Kenny Omega, Osprey? Not necessarily, but it wasn't bad either.
No.
Like no, they were perfectly very fine in ring, especially for the role that they had as two small flippy tag team ladies. So
yeah.
The
NXT ones, these ones were crazy too. So Cora Jade, Shotzi, Gigi Dolan, Riley Osborne, Eddie Thorpe, Jakara Jackson, Gallus, Oro Mensah, Javier Bernal. And side note, main roster has a 90-day non-compete. The NXT roster has a 30-day non-compete. So the NXT roster, you might see them somewhere within the month.
Yeah.
Which is still kind of crazy, but like, you know, they have a quicker turnaround time to where they can figure out where they're trying to go, which is also a lot of pressure because that means you got 3-4 weeks to got to figure out what you about to do, especially if you're one with like a visa and whatnot.
When's Double or Nothing?
May 25th.
Oh damn, never mind. I was gonna say one of them could show up as a wild card or something, but
oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Cora Jade.
Yeah, Cora Jade.
Cora Jade. I thought like this was a for sure. She about to be in the E for 5, 6, 7, 8 years because everybody loved Cora Jade. Like, and we kind of seen the writing on the wall because Roxanne came up with Julia.
They randomly kind of broke them up for a bit, and then Cora's been off of TV for maybe 2 weeks or a week, but also she was doing stuff in TNA. Gigi Dolan, her and Tatum were just on Raw last week. Or
in the crowd.
Yeah, in the crowd. And then like DT said, like Shotzi just cut, like some of these people were doing stuff. One of the dudes, or no, I think it was Gigi. Like she's in the middle of a storyline. It's very similar to what happened with Alistair years back. Like he was literally just about to start a storyline, and he was just like, all right.
You said Gigi?
Yeah, Gigi. She was like
Gigi had a title match this week.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, she and she was teammates with Shotzi and Tatum, which Tatum survived. But yeah, man, it's I forgot what my point was.
Jakara. Why in the fuck are we releasing Jakara Jackson
and Aura? Well, okay, and
Aura.
Yeah, I mean, and they just had Metaphor break up in like a nice cordial way. So a lot of people are speculating like, oh man, maybe Michael's new. So, and that's why he just had them like get a feel good moment. I mean, I have an answer. It doesn't mean it's right, but I don't know if we should just wait till like, or do we name all the people?
yeah, we got everybody.
Okay, so some of these people, like, I'm very shocked with some of them. Like Coda, I'm kind of shocked with. Braun, I'm semi shocked only because he did good the last 3 years or that he's been back, but yeah, I mean, he had the, and this, I'm not usually when I say this, I'm shitting on the people, no pun intended, but like he had the doo doo walk, and it wasn't a good walk. Like he had, like you could see him hobbling, just like randomly, just like regularly walking. So it's like it traveling and all that shit is tough on the body. So it's like I get it, but I don't. So I don't know. It kind of is what it is with that one. I wish all these people the best, by the way. But and also I think a lot of these people are going to be back. So that's another reason why I think that we shouldn't trip too heavily. But like Dakota, that was kind of a shocker. But also she's very injury prone. We've talked about this multiple times. I think since she became in Damage Control, I think she got injured like legitimately 4 times. But it's also weird because she was also like she was one of the finalists in the IC women's thing, and then she even had another IC like, and there's stuff like I don't know. I don't understand why she can't just be like why she couldn't just hang out with EO. Granted, like I guess I fully understand you want to keep the spotlight just mostly on EO, not have a sidekick next to her, but I don't know. It is that one's kind of shocking too. The Shayna one is also kind of shocking only in the sense because, like, yeah, I mean, I've been a huge fan of Shayna. Has her character work on the main roster been good to me? No, but I was still a huge fan of her, and she's a great utility player. Like, she's really smooth in the ring. She's one of my favorite UFC to wrestling people that I've ever seen. Like, I think I think she should be like besides like a Ken Shamrock, like or maybe like a Bobby Lashley or whatever. I think she's been one of the smoothest like UFC fighters transitioning to wrestling that we've seen, in my opinion. Yeah. Overall, this sucks. My couple points, and I try to write them, is okay. Like, all right. So I hate overall I hate releases. I do think a lot of these people are going to find jobs. My thing is I hate the online discourse when the releases happen almost more than I hate the releases. Only because, which sounds kind of crazy. It's just that there's so much like yesterday and even still now there was just so much like so many different like takes from the far like from one side of the spectrum to the far other side of the spectrum to where people are just like this is all Triple H's fault. Let's blame Triple H. He's a bald fraud. Like people saying like, oh, we should forgive Vince. Like we should apologize to Vince. And it's like Vince released people all the time too. Like yeah, dude, some of the takes
during the pandemic, he released them while the world was burning, bro.
Yeah, like no. Some of the takes were absolutely insane. I don't appreciate people. Granted, like I'm not. Who am I to be the fun police? I make funny jokes and I shit on people all the time and whatnot. But I don't appreciate like, whoa, you're getting rid of this person. Well, you got this person right here. Fire this person. Like we shouldn't be asking for people to be fired. Like to me, that's corny. Like yes, do we kind of want Nikita gone? Yes, sure. But we ain't gotta like tag mention like
you don't tag her, yo.
Yeah, we ain't gotta blow up her IG and stuff like that.
That's
like,
wild, bro.
That's not cool. Like that's not good for anyone else's mental health. Like that, yeah. To me, that shit's not cool. Like that's something that you say in the group chat with your homies. Like you ain't gotta hit her up on her post and just
add her or whatnot.
Yeah,
like, she ain't got nothing to do with
that. Also, I hate when once like in the first 5 minutes after someone's released, people are like, "All right, well now you just go here." Like, don't book these people's lives. Like they literally just lost their job. Like yes, like you said, like yes, there are different there's different avenues. Like there is like you can go to a Japan, you can go to an AEW, you can't hit a TNA. But like, can we wait a couple days? Like
it's not even 24 hours.
Yeah, it's like in like maybe this. Hopefully, this like I don't think this is. Hopefully this comparison isn't too dark, but it's kind of similar to when we lost Chadwick and people are like, all right, this is who you got to recast. Like, but like, can we like mourn for a little bit? Like before we just instantly just cast a new person in this role? Like, so like, yeah, I think that part is kind of shitty too. And also the gotcha moments where people are like, they just love to brag about the sales and the gates and blah, blah, blah. Yes, they do brag about that, and they're also kind of supposed to. But like, they're not releasing any of the people that gave them those record gates. They didn't release a Roman. Like they didn't like they're releasing people that a lot of them were not on the TV, and a lot of them were injury prone.
it just feels like that's also like a slight cop out, only in the sense of like, yeah, you tell us you make all this money, we're giving you all this money. Well, we cutting people before they even had a chance to like show you what they could do. And I'm speaking more so on the fact of like the NXT people. Like,
Yes,
we didn't even get to see them like bubble into anything. And some of them had major motion. So when you're sitting here talking about, yeah, we got 40,000 SummerSlam and WrestleMania, this and all that, it's like, well, you throwing all this money in our face? Go spend some bread on your people. Like, that's
right.
like if I came up here and I had like money phones, and you're like, where we get all this money from? I got this money. And now how would you feel? It's like, bro, I've been helping you fucking do this shit. So
Right,
I do understand the
good.
sentiment of like what you're saying as far as like, yes, they are throwing around this money and whatnot. And at the end of the day, they are still they're a business that are owned by somebody else. This is not like this is coming out of Triple H's like pocket where he's like, okay, it's time for us to do cuts. He has to report to somebody else too. Maybe TKO's like, hey, we got to shed some of this weight here. Yeah. And he had to make hard decisions. Which I don't envy anybody in that position, but
right, because I'm sure he likes a lot of these people, like a Coda, like a like a Sonya Deville. Like I'm sure if this was his decision, if he was the one that had the final pen to paper, I don't think he's doing any of this shit maliciously because, like you said, he has a boss. But the other point I was going to make that had to go with that is that we know this. We know enough about the business to know that they can't keep everyone and just like not use them. Like at some point, it's kind of like a shit or get off the pot. I mean, granted, like there's some people that they do keep. Like I saw someone be like, "Oh, how does Apollo Crews keep escaping these?" And
which is crazy to say.
It's crazy to say. It's funny and there's kind of true to an extent because he doesn't get used. But also, why are you like? At the end of the day, like the business aspect of it, they can't keep everybody. I wish they could. No one wants to see them go, but like there is a chance for these people to come back. Like this job, whether people like it or not, on some tribalism stuff, like it's hard to hear for some people, but like WWE is their dream job. Yes, they can wrestle other places, but this is like they want their mania moments. Like this is what they've been thinking as a kid. Like so, some of these people have a chance to come back. As long as they don't
if they want to,
if they want to. So like, I don't think we should force agendas on people and just like, like force the tribalism or the hate just because you don't like the big Fed or whatever. I don't know. I think we just got to be more. Great. It's going to make you sound woke, but I think we got to be a little more sensitive to like people's feelings because at the end of the day, like they're just playing characters on TV.
Yeah, my also thought is that like when it comes to like these different avenues and that you can't keep everybody, it's like, well then, what the fuck? It's like we purchased AAA, we have Evolve, Legends and Futures Greats. Like these are all windows of opportunities. Unless you had to cut some of your current fat to bring in some of that those new people in here,
right?
Which if that's the case, then like, why even expanding those options? And granted, this is only a small taste. We're not. I don't want to be insensitive, but it's like we've cut like 12 or 15 people here. Like that doesn't hold a dent in what they're bringing from AAA or Legends of Fruity Greats or Evolve or whatnot. But it's like there's also these avenues where you could have put these talents in other places, right? You saw the partnership with TNA where Cora was over there. Where I think the report came out that Shayna was doing some work at NXT behind the scenes and whatnot. Like there was multiple places where you could have put these people and they could have been used properly, right? At least give them the options to like, hey, we don't have nothing for you here, but how would you feel about this? How would you feel about pulling the Omos and we're gonna put you in Japan over here in Noah? Like we don't want to cut you, but we have other avenues that you could go for. I don't think WWE explores a lot of those with the current talent they have, at least in my personal opinion.
I think that they do, but I think that they could be a lot more better with it.
Yeah,
because I mean, like we've seen like a Apollo go to NXT for a while, or Dolph Ziggler,
a blood sport,
and stuff like that. But I do think that they could be better at it because there are multiple different shows and whatnot. But yeah, at the same time, like they are signing, like they just got a Penta, they just got a Ray, they just got an Alistair. Like there's rumors that they might try to approach Mariah. So when you sign in new people, the people that haven't been getting over, it's time to rotate out, and it doesn't mean that they can't come back or they won't get over anywhere else. It's just unfortunately it's the sad reality of the business as a whole,
Absolutely.
as a wrestling business as a whole. Like at some point you're gonna get phased out, whether it's because of old age or injury prone or you're just not over. At some point you might get phased out. So yeah.
Do we want to talk about Old Boy Sweet? And they just wiped him off the internet.
Wait, who?
Was it Carver Keanu?
Oh, hey, man, they had the Disney snipers on him. Bruh, you would have thought he posted a Nintendo link. Bruh, you would have thought he just
okay, hold on. Okay, for the people listening, I believe Keanu Carver was on Evolve. He wasn't on main roster, wasn't on NXT or nothing like that. But he had tweeted. He says, "These motherfuckers ain't ready for this shit. They dick riding these Samoan motherfuckers who think they like that, who be voting for Trump and shit, and they ain't really like that." This is in response to, I think Oro had got cut, and he was really mad that like they cut a real one. Was what his original tweet was, and then he just went off.
Yeah.
After this tweet, I'm assuming this is about tribal chief, because I mean he's the only person who's Samoan who was talking about Trump in recently. That man is off the internet. They got him off Twitter, X, whatever you want. He is. I tried to click in and make sure a buddy was still there. Nah, that account is not there, nigga. Off bro. Scorched earth, bro. And he's got a lot of praise from a lot of the IWC because they're like, oh, the balls to say this and stand 10 toes in it for sure. And I think DT has sent it to the chat, and I was like, is he wrong? No. Will he have a job? Also no. So it's just it is what it is. I look, the man was shooting from Evolve. That's a crazy shot, bro.
Yeah, man. It's I get being upset with your friends, but you can't let Twitter fingers cost you a job, bro. And I mean, we don't know if he's officially fired or nothing, but his account definitely got nuked. You type in Keanu, you gonna get gifts from the Key and Peele movie, bro. You ain't gonna see. You ain't gonna see.
You would have thought this nigga leaked the ending to Avengers, bro.
He had a Doomsday script already.
Doomsday script,
bro. I'm telling you, bro. He had the new Pokemon. He already told us the starters, all the Mega Evolutionists.
Shit,
they got his ass out of there. They found out he created Power World.
Quickly, bro. Okay, but that was news, people. We're gonna jump into Raw. Let's see here. Raw kicks off with a promo from Seth Rollins. He's out there with Braun Breaker, Paul Heyman. Paul and Braun are dressed up in tuxedos. Meanwhile, Seth come out here in this $13,000 robe with the craziest eyewear I've ever seen.
Yeah, man, yeah, that shit was crazy. I was like, man, I wouldn't want to see those on mushrooms or anything. I feel like
that shit would trip you the fuck out on some Chronicles of Narnia shit. Mm-hmm. Overall, the promo, he's talking about the crowd and how they still want to chant for CM Punk, and some of them still want to put their fingers up for Roman Reigns. But this right here is the future of the industry, right?
Right.
They're not here.
And real quick, okay, so about that part, what I found interesting is that was the first time since that was the first time I heard CM Punk's name get booed, ever.
Damn.
Ever, especially since he returned to the E. But also, I want to say even AEW, besides the super sickos who were Team Buck, CM Punk actually got a couple boos, and so did Roman, and then they started chanting because obviously the crowd is going to swap. We've already talked about that, but I just wanted to note that my boy finally got some boos on Punk. It's never happened since I've been watching this nigga.
That is true.
Punk has
He
never
don't get
been
booed.
booed. He has never been booed. But yeah, anyway, continue.
Enter Sami Zayn. Seth is, talking to Sami about, hey, you caught WrestleMania, see like the big moves, right? Everything's good. Everything's live over here. Sami's like, hey, I need to come out here and tell him to his face, all this is a load of crap, man. Seth is offended. Like, what you mean? What you talking about? He said, how much time have you spent talking about Punk and Reigns? And then one thing those guys had in common is the guy standing over your shoulder. Basically telling like Seth that like, hey, bro, you are now Roman. You now bloodline. This is your bloodline. You ain't much different than them over there. Seth is over here like appalled. Like, how dare you? Like,
I was appalled for
him. What you mean? What you mean I'm like them? Nothing like them. Sami says he's a hypocrite, and this is just the bloodline with his wise man and his little dog. And that if Braun keeps looking at him like that, he's gonna get his face kicked in. And I love that bar. Mm-hmm. Sami ain't no bitch. I do respect Sami Zayn. He's staying on his shit.
Oh yeah.
Also, Braun Breaker in a tuxedo is terrifying.
Yeah, man, he looked like a star, bruh. And he got made sure that shit was fitted too. It wasn't no quick one bought from the men's warehouse real quick. I gotta go to a prom. Like, nah, bro. They made sure he got. Yeah, that shit fit all the measurements, bruh. I like we talked about it pre-show. I feel like we should just talk about this whole thing, but this is the biggest part of the show. This would be I feel like we should pause after this segment and just go through everything else and then finish off. But to end the segment, like Seth essentially he says like, yeah, like, all right, well, if you're gonna be in our way, I don't like we're still friends. I don't want to hurt you, and like I kind of know who you are. So how about this? How about we just move you to SmackDown? And I don't remember if it was right here or if it was later in the show. He says, we'll move you to SmackDown and you can get the winner between John Cena and Roman and Randy Orton. And just think about it. And I want my answer tonight. And then throughout the entire show, you see a couple Sami segments. But yeah, that was how that
sprinkles of Sami.
Yeah, that was how that first whole segment ended. And just real quick on the first segment, I thought it was great. I love both people. I really do love Sami. I'm a huge fan of Sami. I think he's going to be either, if he doesn't win Money in the Bank, then I think he's going to win the Royal Rumble next year. At least that's my current prediction as of right now. Still have a whole lot of time till we get there. But and maybe a little bit of is this some bias, but he's coming off as a Karen to me. And it's like I get it. I mean, I know I get that Sami's like that moral compass protagonist baby face. But also, like, you was just doing something very similar 2 years ago when everyone else was trying to get you out. You was like, nah, man, I gotta put the ones up. Like, you're still super. I don't even want to say dick riding. He's dancing on Roman shit because like he still has yet to apologize, and you're still sticking up for him every single chance you get, Sami. Like, bro, I mean. But Sami still had some points. To me, they're both being hypocrites. And to be a good wrestler is a hypocrite. Because at some point, you're going to say, fuck these fans. Or at some point, you're going to say, no, these fans are right. Your mind's going to change. Everything's going to change. But that's just the end of the segment.
I do like, it's also a really good story because it's like, Seth Rollins is becoming the thing that he hates. You're becoming this powerhouse force that may end up running the WWE scene. And you are in that power position. You're calling shots. You got a hitman. You got a wise man. Like, you are the bloodline. Just in your aspect, in your world, it doesn't look like it is. But
until every single person has a title for 2 years, he is not the bloodline. But
he is.
The what's the word I was looking for? The similarities are there. The storytelling is there with it. What makes it interesting to me is that he completely thinks he's in the right, and it's not the typical like Killmonger Thanos, like I'm in the right, or I have some good valid points. Like he thinks he's in the right, and the reason he thinks he's right is because he's not doing it for himself. At least he's not like. Granted, obviously he will get all the benefits, but as of right now, everything he's saying is like this has nothing to do about me. Like everything runs through me, but this is not about me. This is
Right.
about the entire industry. Because like even in the promo before Mania, he was like, if we have an industry full of punks, you're gonna have all this blah blah blah. If you have an industry full of Romans, you're gonna have all this. So it's like as of right now, like his mindset, at least the way that's being portrayed to me, is like if I have to, because he even had the one promo was like where I have to make sacrifices. I'm going to make us like that was the last promo on SmackDown. As of right now, the way I'm portraying is like his character. He's doing something very similar to Roman, but what makes it different is that he is trying to benefit everybody. He's trying to lift up every single person. It's honestly, it's very close to the Death Rider
It is.
plot. It's very close. Yeah,
it is.
It's explained 1,000
I'm
times better.
protecting y'all from,
it's explained.
definitely better.
It's explained a lot better, but it's very similar to Death Riders. So yeah.
He's like, I'm using this group to protect, the business from the Romans and the punks. It's like you care so much about your industry and your profession and the passion in it that you're using the power of Braun Breaker to protect you or to protect people from like damaging your dream, right? Mm-hmm. And that's like it's just really good. That's really good fucking writing, Like I enjoy it. What I don't enjoy, Logan Paul. Mm-hmm. Logan Paul has a promo here. He calls the crowd stupid. He says some length. He says main event Jey Uso does not look like a legend, and he's done everything in this industry except win the world title. So Uso's days are numbered. Enter main event Jey Uso. They go back and forth. Jay says something the likes of like, "You think I'm gonna hand this title over to some punk ass YouTuber?" and ends up super kicking him. Why is Jey Uso's first run against Logan Paul? What? Why are we doing this?
Okay, so I don't have a problem with it only in the sense because it's very similar to when DT was like, who should maybe Logan should be in the Seth faction because we know he's gonna get booed or whatever. Right now, you have one of the most over dudes who everyone's cheering for, and then you have one of the most booed people. So it's a really good bad guy versus good guy in the sense of like, as far as reaction goes, people are going to boo the living hell out of Paul, and they're going to yeet their brains out for Jay, thus proving the IWC wrong about how everyone feels about Jay. I think the match will be fine, and honestly, if it gets it out of the way, I'm fine with it. There wasn't that many contenders set up for Jay after Gunther, and we know what Gunther's doing something else, and they're not going to do the Seth stuff right now. So, yeah, to me, it makes the most sense because Logan won his Mania match, and he's the biggest heel on Raw besides Seth and Gunther right now. So it just made sense to be like, all right, let's get this match out the way. Because if anything, this would be like a crown jewel match,
Absolutely.
And this isn't Logan's first title match either because he fought Roman, he fought Cody.
Why does he get so many goddamn title shots? Like,
because he's Logan Paul, bro. I don't know.
Like,
I don't know. Like, I don't like him. I don't want him around. I'm not asking for him to be fired, but also I really don't want him around. The reason I laughed when you said his first words is because one of the reasons I like. Granted, I don't think Logan Paul is ever going to be like super liked. No. Everyone respects his in-ring craft, but as far as his personality goes, I don't like. He'll probably never be able to be a babyface, ever. The thing with him though is that he comes off very one note at this point, and it's kind of stale. And I think that's another reason why he's getting booed is because you are a part-timer in the sense of like you kind of have a Roman schedule. And then you come out here and you honestly, all your promos are the exact same. It's like, this town's stupid. Oh, you know what? It's because you guys are not humble. You're not humble like me. You don't, like, and it's like, it's literally that every single time. Like you insert town's name, call it stupid, tell them they're not humble. They don't make as much money as you. And that's it. And granted, like, there's a lot of wrestlers who repeat their shit. Like Miz says, I face John Cena at WrestleMania all the time. But
Right.
there's different ways to portray it. And there's different ways that it comes off. And I just think he's kind of like one note. But overall, I think it's fine. I think it's a fine first feud to me. So I don't know.
Yeah, this one should definitely be, Jey Uso's not losing his belt to Logan Paul. Like, there's no fucking way. I just think that, like, I would love to have seen somebody else test Jay's like metal or worth. Like Ludwig would have came out there and be like, well, yeah, you got him, but can you get me, kind of thing. I think I'd have fell more into like, oh shit, we're gonna see if Ludwig can step up to the plate, because Ludwig is and has been doing great shit. I haven't seen him on TV in a while though.
He was on this episode, but it was commercial break stuff, so I didn't see it.
Like, yeah, like to put Ludwig up there and kind of like get his little stock up. And granted, he wasn't going to win either, but at least that would have made more sense as far as like, you beat my guy, I'm going to try to like defend the honor or whatever the case may have been. But yeah, we'll get through it. We'll live, people. Becky has a promo. She comes out there and says that she says Bayley got attacked and taken out of her WrestleMania match, but there will be no weeks-long investigation. That's a shot. She's reviewed the footage and she did it. She tells the crowd to not worry, not fake the outrage and act like the bad guy, and says Bayley's attacked her repeatedly since 2019 and she's never apologized to her. So Becky's like, yeah, I did it. Fuck her, because she attacked me.
Mm-hmm.
Rightfully so. She mocks Bayley for whining about it and not being a bigger star. She says she got to see what a bigger star looks like when she walked down the aisle of WrestleMania. That brings her to Lyra. The enemy of your enemy is your friend, works in reverse. I didn't understand that. Maybe that's went over my head. I did well in English, but it was a lot for me. She says she tried to save her, try to get her to ditch that bitch. And I was like, oh, when Becky got to resort to the cuss words, you really honing in on this heel shit. Anywho, the promo kind of, it goes back and forth between her and Lyra. Lyra actually has a really good promo in this, where she's like,
Lyra shows that she can hang on the mic
for sure. But it looks like we're getting Lyra versus Becky for the IC belt at Backlash. This is on paper, you would think that, the man is probably going to win this, but honestly, I feel like this is a Lyra moment, and I think this is a good rub for Lyra. However, we've known that WWE doesn't do short storylines, and Becky losing to Lyra at Backlash just to turn at Mania or turn on the Raw after Mania, it doesn't make a lot of sense, you don't do a 4-week heel run and lose to the up and coming babyface. So I don't know exactly where they're planning on doing with this.
Yeah, I would have to assume that Bex is going to win, which is going to piss a lot of people off. But I've said time and time again, like, she is one of the best women as far as when it comes to elevating other talent. She gave Xia Li a 5-star match, damn near. Like the work that she did with Bianca, like when she came back and she beat Bianca at SummerSlam in like 3 seconds, like, and like how we saw Bianca go through that chase made Bianca even a bigger star than what she already was, even though the previous year she fought, Sasha in like at Mania, so which that was a crazy moment for what it was. So Becky is going to elevate, like, what I assume what would happen is Becky will win, and she might have a couple random matches with some other people to get showcased, to work with them, and then eventually this will go back to Lyra, or maybe we'll even go to Bayley. But I don't see Becky losing this match unless it's because of Bayley interference. Otherwise, I think Becky is going to win this match,
and that would be a good program too. Like, Bayley Becky would be a solid one to see. Yeah. I would be really like upset at like Becky winning it from Lyra, because it's like, oh, this is a mid-card title that we're giving to Becky Lynch, and then we also just gutted our mid-card division. I'd be like, this makes no fucking sense. Like we've
Yeah,
had
I mean,
we've
there's
had people
still
lined up ready to go for this shit.
yeah. I
Like
mean, there's still like she can still work with a Ivy, a Maxine, a Natalia, and can still work with some NXT talent. Uh,
we ain't seen none of them people on TV. Maybe Ivy. Ivy was on this Raw,
yeah, no,
but like
Ivy was seen on
rest of them,
TV. Yeah,
they ain't been on
Maxine and
TV.
Natty,
Ain't in the
they've only been
ring.
doing like backstage segments.
Exactly.
But there's now that's a chance for them. Like, you fake injure Lyra for a little bit, then Natty tries to go after it. You get a Natty Becky match, Maxine or whatever, yada yada.
And
And then
it's like,
there's
what
always
NXT talent?
I mean, there's a lot. They have a lot. Like the reason, like because I saw it. Another thing I saw was like, oh, they released so many women. Well, that's because they have a lot of really good women. They have a lot of people that we don't even that haven't even been on TV yet, just still sitting back there like training and waiting for a moment to be on TV. And I don't like there's not a factual number on this, but I feel like the last couple years, ever since like 2.0, you usually get maybe 4 to 5 years in NXT, depending on like how experienced you already were. I feel like you get about 4 or 5 years, and if they're not seeing whatever they want to see, whatever their metrics are, then they might let you go, type of thing. Um, I don't know if that's true or not, but it's just from what I've been seeing, at least that's how I've been perceiving it. It's like you got like 4 or 5 years, and if we don't find you useful, we're not gonna, if you're not like a Julia or something, we're not gonna just instantly put you on the main roster if you're stinking up NXT type of thing. But I don't know. Anyway, I digress. I think that Becky could like still. Becky has been known, like an interview just came out with Tegan Knox, or FKA Tegan Knox, where she was talking about like, yeah, Becky's one of those people who like she wants to work with everyone, she wants to give everyone some TV time, hence why Xia Li had a title match on a Raw randomly, type of thing. So she's if Becky does get this title, she's going to use it to try to elevate the division, and that's one of the reasons I like her, because she always tries to like make other people look good. Yeah,
And
they might lose, and they might lose in 3 seconds on some Bianca shit, but by the end of the story, that person, whoever she beat, whatever the story is, they're going to look amazing at the end of it.
And that could be the overall goal for Lyra, because we're already talking about the connection with the fans, that people woo, but they don't like after they woo. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, and they
I saw
just
some
started
critiques.
doing like the last like 2-3
Yeah,
weeks.
I saw some critiques where like during Mania, where Becky came out and Lyra was just up there just flapping her wings, and people are like, "Bro, what is she doing?" So it's like this could hopefully work in the run to help Lyra be more like legitimate, which is what would help her out for years to come.
Yeah.
From here, we find out that through a very passionate promo, Pat McAfee will be facing Gunther 101 at Backlash. He's talking about he's going to stand up for anybody who attacks his friend Michael Cole. He's not afraid of that motherfucker, is what he said. This one, I will also ask, why in the hell is Gunther fighting Pat McAfee? Granted, this won't be a real match. I'm not expecting this to be no fucking 30-minute fucking barnyard banger or whatnot. But what's the overall setup? Do you think the rumor of the Goldberg finally happening?
I would hope so. If it's not that, okay. So if it's not a fucking look, okay. Everyone knows how I feel about Pat. All right, I don't like Pat. I do not. But he has yet to have a bad match. I've yet to see him do bad things in the ring. And this promo was too long and it was full of lies, but it was a good promo. In saying that, I want a 5 minute. I don't even want 5 minutes. I need a couple chops. I just want a pure beatdown. But I have a feeling that's not what we're gonna get. So the two things that I can see maybe happening is we get a beatdown. Obviously, Pat does have some couple comebacks, but essentially it turns into just a beatdown to where Goldberg, for whatever reason, comes out and saves. Or Pat wins. And it just further spirals Gunther.
Ain't no fucking way.
And we see where his character goes. Because we saw how his character was when he lost to Sami. Took him a minute to get his mojo back. he loses the J. He instantly starts attacking announcers. What would happen if he lost to a Pat McAfee, someone who is not a wrestler, someone who thinks he's a joke? His character, like, there's a chance to do something cool with his character if he was to lose. I don't want to see it, but I'm just saying, like there's like, and then you can add Ludwig into it, because what if Ludwig comes in, he's like, you lost to this Yeet merchant Jake, is what the internet calls him. You lost to this clown, and then you lost to Pat, who's even a bigger clown. And I used to let you be my boss. Like, there's different avenues. Like, there's a lot of story things that they can do if he was to lose. Again, I don't want to see it. I want to see a 3-minute match.
If Gunther loses to Pat McAfee, I'm gonna start questioning whether or not he done chopped Ari Emanuel in Vegas and he's being punished. There's no fucking way that in my realm of living does that make any sense to me. Even in the aspect of storyline where, like, oh yeah, you just lost a guy because you weren't serious. Never Pat McAfee, though. Never. But then again, that would also do numbers on social. Pat can take it back to his podcast and he can talk about it there, and it bigs up the numbers and whatnot, the viewership and everything like that. But just not on Gunther. Don't do it to the ring general. Like, he can't have that stain on his jacket, bro. Like, that's wicked.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, no, I don't want it, but I could see arguments to why you would do it, but no, I want like 5 chops and just a pure beat down. I want him to do what he did to Jimmy to do to Pat, and then you hear that Goldberg music.
The current landscape for Backlash is John, Randy, Lyra, Becky, Pat, Gunther. There's one more that comes later, but we'll talk about that on SmackDown. But none of these technically look like the worker rate matches. I don't know how I feel. John and Randy, no bumps.
I think that women's match is going to be heat. I think I feel like Lyra has already proven herself in ring, and I feel like Becky has. So I feel like that match is going to be heat. I think the other match, the SmackDown one, I think that will be heat when we talk about it. And then I feel like this is the surprising one. But like I said, like Gunther, I feel like he's one of those people similar to a Bryan Danielson, Daniel Bryan, and certain other names that I feel like he could wrestle a floating plastic bag and put on like no less than a 3-star. And then and then again, like as much as we dislike Pat, like the few matches that he's done, one of them being a War Games match, but like the few matches that he has done, like he's been pretty solid. Like he's like, I would if you were to put it on a scale, I would say maybe a little less than a Bad Bunny, like, so like if Logan's higher than Bad Bunny, I would put Pat under Bad Bunny. As far as like celebrities guests that wrestle, he's not a bad wrestler. He's just annoying, and I hate looking at him and hearing his voice.
We're going to see. Backlash is shit. Actually, coming up pretty soon. To be honest,
it's next week. Actually,
it's next week.
Yeah,
it is next week.
Yeah, day before Mother's Day.
Oh shit.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, they got to put this card together.
Yeah, we got to figure out how we're going to record this, because Yeah, we'll talk about it off air.
Yeah. Main event time. It kicks off with a promo from Seth, and Seth is talking about how him and Sami are friends, and that like when Seth had his kid, he called Sami, and like their kids hang out together. How like, he's a really good friend and whatnot. Part of this promo I really like is how Sami responds. Right? Mm-hmm. He says that we are friends, and we're such good friends that you know what I'm looking to get. You're dangling the carrot in front of my face, which is the WWE Championship, and for that reason, I got to get it my way. I'm not going to take your offer. I got to do it my way. I'm going to do it the right way. So as a friend, he respects you, and I love you, Seth, but you can go to hell. Rollins closes his eyes, and then you hear the fucking dogs barking, Braun sirens, and that was the dopest fucking scene. That shot was amazing. The way that was shot was so fucking fire to me, because it was like, Fuck, you said it. And then it just kicks off Braun immediately. Like he's the equalizer. Like I love this aspect of Braun being the Infinity Gauntlet. He's the one like, bro, I don't want to have to do this, but go ahead, Braun. Not take him out. In which he does. There's a match. Braun versus Sami. Sami gets some spots in here. It's a really dope fucking match. Mm-hmm. And then it just turns into fucking Spearfest.
Yeah, it turns into a massacre, like out of the blue. Like
just
the only thing that overall the segment was amazing. The match was good. The way it ends is good. The only critique I have is that Sami should have like spit up some blood just to like make it hit a little
just
harder.
Sell it.
Because he got speared like fucking. He got, what was it, four times?
Four times, yeah.
4 times? Yeah, like he should have coughed up a little blood, just to like make it a little more impactful. But also at the same time, we know Braun spears are impactful. Like you don't have to speed up the camera at all when he does it. So
you don't.
Yeah.
It was funny because like as he got speared, I think the second time he rolls over to the corner and Seth's like, "Just take the offer." It's like, nigga, I'm already beat over here. Like, now you gonna tell me to take the offer? And even then, Sami still being Sami is like, go to hell. Yeah. All right, bet. I'll show you hell, nigga. Spear him again.
It's very babyface. I love it. A part of me is like, bruh, Sami, bruh, you should have took that deal, bruh. And it's not like he's being given a number one contender spot isn't necessarily like super cutting the line. Like he's making it seem like he's being handed the titles. Like you still gotta beat either Randy Orton or John Cena. I'm just giving you I'm just giving you the opportunity to have that chance to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, just take the deal, Sam. You be in this moral compass when literally just 2 years ago you was beating them niggas in the backstage for your Samoan bloodline, bro. Like. But now everybody want to be a good guy, But overall it was good. They're making Sami. I don't want to say he's not a martyr, but dude, I was about to ask a question because we know Roman's not showing up until June or something like that. Mm-hmm. So does that mean we're getting Sami and Punk versus Braun and Seth? Do you think that's a thing? Because Punk he's filming something right now too as well.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean you ain't gotta answer that now. But the segment was great. We get 4 spears total, and then you
get the quote that what he said to Braun before he stomped out Sami.
No, what was exactly
that he's like? He takes Braun to the corner and he's like, "Tonight is your first lesson, and there are people that deserve their empathy and compassion, but Sami made his bed." But Sami made his bed, and he goes off and just stomps the fuck out of him. So in this relationship that he's having with Braun, he's like teaching him at the same time. And anything that we know about a good teacher-mentor story is that the student
one day surpasses the master.
Exactly. So seeds are being planted here. And the one thing you don't want to do is give Braun architect knowledge. You don't give the man with the deadliest spear architect knowledge. Like that's going to make him so cerebral.
Yeah, you don't like when you have goons, when you have a Solomon Grundy or the unsmart version of Hulk, you don't want to make the Hulk smart.
Smart?
So not only can he break the world, now he knows strategy. Like you don't that's what you keep your dullards dumb for a reason. You don't want them to think. You just want them to hurt. Like, because once they start thinking,
it starts fucking up.
And then they thinking about taking your spot. Y'all see the Penguin? There's so many references to this situation.
Speaking of the Penguin, the cut when Braun came out and like the image of Paul Heyman right at like under his shoulder, over his shoulder, also a fire image. Like they're doing a lot of foreshadowing here. Like it's. The little details are happening, people. We don't know exactly how the story's going to play out, but they're kind of like telling you the angles of what's about to happen, and that was fucking dope to me.
Yeah, man. Great segment.
That was raw.
Ends with a stomp, ends with the crowd singing his fucking song, as they should. But,
No, you should not. You rich-ass fans should not be singing this man's song. He's the bad guy.
Not in his world. Everyone's the hero in their own story, man.
All right. We're going to take a quick little break. When we get back from the break, we'll talk about Dynamite and then Smackdown. And we're back, people. We are back, and we're going to talk about AEW Dynamite.
But before we do that, folks, Mother's Day is approaching. And what is the perfect way to celebrate your mom and her patriotic freedom than buying her an AR-15? Go to buyyourmomagun.com for her patriotic freedoms, folks. AR stands for Armalite.
What is wrong with you, bro? Don't do that. Don't do that at all.
Yeah, no, your mom needs no.
This segment of this is the AEW segment, which is called Dynamite, which then you tell the listeners to buy an AR-15 for their mom and the patriot. And I thought you were gonna talk about the patriarchy, which would have been a crazy spin to talk about Nick Wayne and his mom. I thought you were about to do some fly shit, and this motherfucker's telling everybody to go buy guns. What the hell is going on here?
Use code WAV for 30% off your AR-15.
Dude.
No, it's not real. I'll kill the kayfabe myself. It's not real.
Dynamite kicks off with the 8-man tag.
All-star tag.
It's Kenny Omega,
Speedball, Kevin
Knight, and Briscoe.
Yes.
I believe was the baby faces, and then it's Bucks, Ricochet, Okada.
Yes.
While I do think this was a very fun match, and I did enjoy it, really fucking long. I think they went like 30 minutes.
Doug, yes.
It was a really, really long match.
Really.
I loved. I popped for the fucking the crane kick by Speedball and Mark Briscoe. I did like that.
That almost made my eyes roll out of my socket. But hey,
I did like that shit.
If you like it, I tolerate it.
I made my notes. I said I didn't see Okada until he got missile drop kicked. Okada, he take like
biggest
4 bumps,
bro.
He take 4 bumps a match and pay me, bro. All I heard was a coin flip, and I didn't see him until he got missile drop kicked.
And he's the one who gets the pin, right? It's like, bro,
yes, bro.
He gets the that is some creative control, bro. That is some creative.
He came out, and when he came out, I was like, "Oh shit! I forgot about the Continental Belt. That's just not a thing anymore." Which I hope that like when it comes to Texas, that they just merge the belts. The double flip spot by Rick and Nick was also dope. That was fly to me. Senton Tombstone was fire. There's electric chair drop kick. Overall, a lot of action in this match. Went on for a really long time, but I did enjoy it. Also, Speedball is rubbing off on me. Something about the 90s era, man. Call it nostalgia, but it just it makes me want Pizza Hut and Ninja Turtles. Like it's a very comfort moment.
I can see that. I'm still not sold on him. Kevin Knight, though, I'm highly sold on. That man got
Kevin Knight's fire.
I didn't like the elbow spot. I mean, I get that it was supposed to be sports entertaining. It was a little hokey to me. The electric chair drop kick, though, that was fire. And yeah, there was that spot you said about Ricochet and Nick or Matt, whichever one it was, that was fire. Overall the match was exciting. It's catered to the audience that watches the show. It's just like not like sure. They could have cut this down 10 minutes and gave us another women's match,
something.
Like,
it was a lot, but still enjoyable. We get an Ops versus some jobbers. This kind of like it just sets up Death Riders coming out, once again targeting the Ops, or more particular Samoa Joe. Joe calls out Mox in a steel cage at AEW Spring Break in Chicago. So the AEW Championship will be on the line in a steel cage. I do like this because this is a trope of you keep running from me. You're not going to run from me in the steel cage. That's kind of like the angle that they're playing is that like you keep avoiding me. Well, how about this? Steel cage, you can't avoid me. Now, is Joe going to get choked out? Probably. Do I want to see Joe get choked out? Absolutely not. But that's probably what's going to happen here. And at first, I thought this was definitely a double or nothing match. At least it made sense to me. But the fact that they're doing 2 weeks on a Dynamite lets me know that whatever's happening in Double or Nothing will probably be Anarchy in the Arena. Something's going to happen.
I've heard a rumor of that. Yeah, I heard tale of a rumor of that. Yeah, and that's part of what the All-Star tag was hinting towards, I believe, because I think it would be those individuals, maybe even including a Swerve. So they would need another heel to even the odds, but yeah,
probably. We got a MJF and Hurt segment, and I think I'm with you guys now to where this is what I look forward to the most. It was good. It starts off where or prior to the segment, MVP's talking to Bobby and Sheldon about, hey, just stick with me. I ain't never did y'all wrong. Trust me, he can be part of the group. All he needs is a thumbs up, and if anything happens, we'll just hurt him. We'll just beat him down, right? They call out. MVP comes out and says, the announcement. While we're here, we've been discussing adding a fourth member, and according to the corporate bylaws, this prospect needs a unanimous 3 thumbs up. And then give him one more time. You see Sheldon get the thumbs up. MVP gets the thumbs up. Bob looks like he's about to he's almost there. Thumbs down. And MJF just fucking snaps. And this is where the old school MJF kind of comes back, and he's like, I'm sick of Lashley's shit and asking what exactly he wants. I give you women, victory, money, cars. How about some Rogan, you bald son of a bitch? And I was like, okay, MJF is back.
Yeah, bro.
Which
this is the MJF I like, bro. There's no Xbox Live talk, bro. No, none of the Edge Lord stuff. He's being entertaining. I don't know. Again, very sports entertained by this whole thing.
He's being entertaining until he got choked out in that corner.
Rightfully
and
so.
Bob said the realest shit ever. You want to know what I want? I want you to go hurt somebody. We hurt people over here. So go hurt somebody. And I was like, how have I not thought about what the people who hurt people want him to do? Go find somebody and hurt somebody. That's how you prove your worth. In order to get jumped into the gang, you got to go jump somebody.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Now the question is who? Who? And what does it look like?
Top of my head, guess Hangman.
I'm going to spin something. And it's a stretch, but Ced's contract ends in 7 days. Or as of when I read it was 7 days.
Wait, who's
contract? What if he hurts Cedric Alexander? What if the person he hurts was the person that they knew?
I feel like that would be booking backwards, because why would you debut a nigga getting his ass whooped? And then also, why would I let you? Yeah, but why would I let you in a gang when you beat up my little homie?
What if he didn't know?
You just got.
You told me to go hurt somebody. I just hurt somebody, and it's Cedric.
MJF talks about how he watches every single wrestling show, no matter the promotion. You know who Cedric Alexander is, nigga.
Do you understand the heat that he would get if he fucking just bloodied up Cedric and I hurt somebody?
Right, but I don't think he doesn't need heat right now. He needs
also true.
He needs cheers, which is
they have been cheering the fuck out of him during this.
Everyone's been liking this segment. This is we're not a ratings podcast, but this is usually the highest rated part of the show. Is these, at least the last couple of weeks, have been these Hurt Syndicate segments. And again, I'm like I've been saying, man, there's so many. This has legs. I don't think. I feel I don't think he should attack Cedric, especially since he hasn't debuted yet or anything like that. I think that would be a wild way to debut.
It would be.
That would make me look at Cedric even more funny Just based off like him even taking a job offer there would be funny to me, but like him be like, all right, I'll take this job offer, no
I
public
got beat up.
apology, and then like you start off with getting your ass whooped. Like, nah, that's a different type of kiss in the ring. I would I would look at Cedric differently. That's all I'd say. I look at him as a different man.
Nah,
but
now that you broke it down, that sounds a little crazy.
But like as far as because he's ran into Hangman like 2 or 3 times ever since their match where he lost, I could see him beating up Hangman, costing his match against. Well, yeah, spoiler alert, because Hangman wins the main event tonight. So we're gonna get Hangman and Ospreay. 2 baby faces as of right now, or 1 baby face in a tweener. They could easily have Will win clean, assuming Will is the route that they're gonna go, which I think it is. MJF still has some beef with Hangman. I can see him, attacking Hangman and beating his ass, or attacking both of them and beating, or whatever. I think Hangman's the most logical choice, unless it's just some jobbers, which that's fine too, because Hurt Syndicate beat up jobbers all the time. But I feel like if you're trying to impress Lashley, then beating up someone of note, such as a Hangman, a former champion, someone who beat you at the last pay-per-view you guys were at, would be more of note to impress Lashley in the game.
I do like that. I like that idea a lot. To where if this is hypothetically you have he attacks Hangman, MJF then sides with Hurt Syndicate. Hangman needs to go after Hurt, but he's by himself. The story right now is FTR has been looking for the chance to get their tag team titles back. You might be able to run a trios with, Bob, Shelton, MJF versus Hangman and FTR.
Right. But then you're making Hangman a heel again. You know what they could do? That's when you finally get him and Swerve on the same page, because Swerve has not got his lick back against the Hurt Syndicate.
True.
Nor do I think he will. But I don't think Lashley likes that 50-50. But I feel like because people want to cheer Hangman right now too. Like, I mean, people have always wanted to cheer Hangman.
They still do. Like, they was cheering him when he burned people. He's burning houses down.
Well, that was cool, and it was very well deserved. You know how I feel about that guy. But, I feel. But no, I mean that your idea isn't like it's very plausible. I will say though, as far as FTR getting maybe another third, Daniel Garcia was wearing very similar colors as them tonight on Collision. I don't know if that was on purpose. We've seen people dress up as Wolverine twice on this show, so it could be an accident. But it's something to think about.
In the same match too.
Same. Shit is hilarious.
A quick note: Nick Wayne had a match against Jay Lethal today, or this episode, which surprised me. This was the one I was like, okay, I don't need to watch this. I can just eat my food or whatever. But I was thoroughly surprised. This was a really good match, especially in the back half of the match. And I think they're doing this because Nick Wayne is in a tournament in Japan. I believe it's the junior heavyweight tournament in New Japan, where it's all the best kind of like light heavyweights around the world. And so he's going to go over to Japan and do that tournament. So I was like, this is a good way to showcase, the American audience and some of the Japanese audience of who Nick Wayne is. He actually won the match against Jay Lethal pretty solid. And not saying Jay Lethal looked trash out there, because he didn't, but it was a good orchestrated match. Mm-hmm. Even had like Christian come out and put the belt around his waist to kind of solidify that Nick Wayne is, his own guy. From here, in the main event, Fletcher versus Hangman. Bodies. Them boys was in there grappling. Like, Fletcher I've been a Fletcher fan for a while now. He has turned into one of the best, up and comers, like the wrestlers under 26 or 27 or however you want to do it. Like, he's able to hold his own. Like, he's solid.
And he had that shit on tonight. I mean, I think he needs to earn the fire outfits. Like, you need to start winning a little more consistently to earn these fire ass fits. But that fit was like he had that shit on. I was fucking with it. I still think he should grow out his hair. Don Callis, he needs to really get him. Him and Konosuke, they need to get far away from that bald man as far as possible. But I
was wondering what Konosuke was doing. Side note, my bad.
Yeah,
Konosuke was doing. He's overseas. He's still traveling and wrestling right now. Like he's
Really?
yeah, that's why he hasn't really been like used. I think he just had a match in Japan today.
Was he on the show
Like
last week or collision? Like one of the shows last week?
yes, he's been back and forth.
Hey man, that's a worker, bro. You chasing that
Man.
bag, bro. Catering who?
Chasing the legacy. Like he's solidified his legacy in two different like
The Alpha
continents,
baby.
bro. Like
The Alpha, big A, capital A.
for sure, for sure.
But over real quick, overall, I think the main event, it was again very similar to how I said the start of the show caters to that fan base. Like this, the main event does, but in a different way. In the sense that, I mean, I think this was a better match. It was still long. There was still some.
It was like 25 minutes.
Still some false finishes that didn't need to happen and whatnot, but everyone seemed very happy with this match. It seemed like a good main event. It was a good way to end the show. So, and they had this show with all this show. It had even though I don't care for the first match, but it had a good beginning. It had it had something in the middle that was worth turning into, and then had something in the end worth turning into. So that's making it a full show. So ratings be damned. At least like there was a cohesion to where it's like we started off hot, we ended hot, and we still had something in the middle to where it's like if you just tuned in because you just got off of work, you can catch the funny segment with the Hurt Syndicate, or whatever Tony Storm or Mercedes did, or
Tony
whatever.
Storm's match was fucking fire too. I didn't mention it, but like Tony had a good fucking match.
Yeah, she wrestled the random Japanese lady.
Yeah, I think Joshi.
Yeah,
which is just setting up Forbidden Door shit. Like they're just trying to like get that shit ready to go.
Yeah.
Going back to the Fletcher Hangman, I didn't know you can do a buckshot lariat from a turnbuckle. The man did it from the turnbuckle. I've never seen that like done before. And then he ends up with the regular buckshot lariat, which is how he got the win. But like, yeah, it's a solid. We're getting Ospreay versus Adam Page or Hangman at Double or Nothing. I think that's gonna be a fucking banger. Like Hangman had a killer match with Pac. I think he's gonna have a killer match with Ospreay. We're probably gonna come back here talking about it for sure.
Well, I mean, yeah, those are two of some of their best workers. I mean, people love the Ospreay style. People love the Hangman style. I'm more of a Hangman guy myself. If I had to choose between the two, but yeah, the match should be good. To my knowledge, they've never faced each other, at least in America. So, should be good. They probably faced each other in Japan because Hangman was in Bullet Club and all this other stuff. They probably faced each other in Japan, but I don't think they faced each other in America.
That I'm not sure. I can definitely look that up. I think with the way that they're promoting Forbidden Door with like Ospreay splattered everywhere, I would be surprised if Ospreay does not beat Mox.
I mean, it really depends on if they're really trying to hold out for Darby, and how much sway does Mox really have? Because honestly, you could argue that they could have pulled the trigger multiple times with multiple other people. Like you could have put it on Jay White or Hangman when they had that triple threat. You could have put it on Cope. You could have put it on. You could put it on Joe. People really love Joe, and they're more than likely not going to put it on Joe. So I will say this: if they don't put it on, like if Subin Ospreay wins and we get this match in Texas, if Ospreay does not win, I might have a Dave LaGreca type rant on this show because that's just crazy. That's just crazy booking.
It's crazy booking. It's crazy booking. Like there's no way that Ospreay should lose to Mox. But the thing about this is that he's also going to have neutralizers. He's going to have people who can neutralize Death Riders. And maybe that's what the build is also setting up too, is that like you're going to have people who can focus on the Bucks now, who can focus on Claudio, who can focus on Marina. Like you need to build up this so-called shield of baby faces to prevent the interference.
And I feel like, I mean, they try to start that when they had like the episode when they had like 1,000 baby faces just waiting in the parking lot, and that failed. Jesus. But I would say the closest thing that they have to recovering it is what happened on the show the other week. We didn't cover it because I think it was a pay-per-view episode, but it was when the Ops won and like the Ops won the trios and they like threw out confetti and all this other shit. Like they threw like a legitimate like party, like it was like something to really celebrate. So
Was that the episode they passed
that was
Nitro or
that was episode
WCW?
yeah.
Yeah.
So so in theory you got a Joe, you got a Hobb, you got a Hobbs, you got a Shibata,
Shibata.
you got a Hook who will come back at some point.
Yeah, we didn't cover that. That was
Then Swerve. Then there's Knight and Karate Speedball. So like they
in Hangman,
and
like,
Hangman.
because the Bucks still are gonna fuck over Hangman. Hangman hasn't asked for any help from them,
No,
and they're probably gonna do something that's gonna sabotage, Hangman's like success, and therefore you're gonna have Hangman on your ass too. So
yeah.
there
I
has
didn't even think about that. That's another way Hangman could lose. Like if it's not MJF, then it could be the Bucks.
yeah, just
How he
always
loses to
interfering in
Ospreay.
their shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Smackdown. Boy,
Only two things really happened.
First things first. They said that there's rumor that in June is going back down to 2 hours. Now, I'm not one to take away people's work, but because we've had 3 hour Smackdowns for a while now, and there's been a couple good ones. I think the of course the tag team ladder match, the triple threat ladder match, fucking fire, but there's been no focus. I don't know if they thought about what does a Smackdown with no Cody look like. Like, and we got it because there's no Cody on this show.
Well, the thing is, even with Cody, there was still problems. It's really the biggest problem, because we talked about it before. The biggest problem with this 3 hour SmackDown is that whether it's Cody or Cena, and like your champion is not going to work that consistently because it's your champion. Like the main focus has been on the tag team division, which the tag team division has been carrying.
Been balling.
The tag team division has been carrying SmackDown since the 3 hours. We talked about the men's mid card, which the men's mid card just started heating back up, and that's because they had like Fatu, and then Drew's in the mid card right now to buy him some time, and then Priest is officially in the mid card, which sets up and then LA Knight's been cooking, but we talked about it before. Like it was mostly just LA Knight, Andrade, and Carmelo. Like that, like we had that for like 2.5 months, and then throw Shinsuke in there who wasn't working. That like the men's tag division is what's been carrying SmackDown. That can't carry a 3 hour show, especially if like fucking Cena or isn't there, or Cody just is there to cut a promo one time in a suit or something.
Solo's not Tribal Chief Solo no more, so like
right, no,
you lose out on that superstar.
I mean, Fatu is better, but
as far as like story impact, like
right,
storylines that you can explore.
We just lost Kevin. So yeah, like granted we just got Alistair, so that's helping, but like the women's division also stepped up on this particular show. It's just like, I think the cohesion and the way that the pacing of the 3 hour SmackDowns have not been good. It's just like you might get a fire main event like last week, or you might get just a regular main event, but then you have like a random fire ass match at the 2 hour mark or the hour and a half mark, and it's like, all right, well, it's just
long
not
opener. Like this one, the open was long. It was LA Knight and Priest, and like don't get me wrong,
they were hooping.
Great fucking talent.
They were hooping, bro. LA Knight is still in mania mode because they were hooping, but it was long. And I mean, I'd rather a match start. I'd rather a show start with a long match as opposed to a long promo. But if it's long, if the show is too long, then it's too long, and it's like, then you wonder why people are mad that you're cutting people. Where it's like you could put more people on the show, then you have to make this shit interesting because
hindsight's in 2020. But do you think that like some of those NXT women could have made SmackDown more interesting? It could have helped a little bit. Like if you'd have had a Cora and Tiffy meetup at this point, and this wasn't Tiffy and Nia, like if maybe somebody from your past haunted you and came back, and it's Cora like going after Tiffany Stratton, like just something fresh.
Yes, my answer to that is yes. I feel like if they gave the same attention to the women's tag that they gave to the men's tag on SmackDown, because the men's tag on SmackDown they get maybe an hour of show, I feel like, or at least half an hour. and that's like with a match and a backstage segment or two, depending on the team. I feel like if they had that same energy with the women's tag, then you got at least an hour and a half of just tag team stuff, but with both genders and like multiple different bodies. So you're seeing at least 20 to 30 people, and then you have your main event shit and stuff. I don't know. It's just overall the pacing of it is just I don't know. It's just weird, and that's
It
why
is definitely weird.
they haven't been hitting. Like it's felt like a chore for most people. Like it's been a chore for me because I can't even watch the last hour. Like I need to be in bed by like 10:10. I can't stay up on Fridays like that. So yeah, I don't know. It's just and it sucks because I do like I enjoy the 2 hour shows, but then a lot of people are going to lose time. So
Exactly.
it's weird, but also at the same time, a lot of people aren't getting time because you're like I mean again besides the tag teams like the tag teams are getting the most time, and then you insert some bloodline stuff or new bloodline, so let's just say Fatu and Solo into something, you're going to get
And
a Cody segment
certain,
ish.
and this could just be my opinion, but I think certain talent also just misused in certain places. It's like
Yeah.
Andrade ain't grabbed in a minute. Of course, like there's the storyline implications currently with like Mello and Miz, but even then, like Mello should have been used before a little bit more frequently before that as well. Um, I think that you could have had Alistair come back against Andrade, or something like that, to where like that's interesting. Like, oh shit, like you
I
don't have
mean,
to wait so long.
yeah, no, true. But I mean, him and Miz did have a good match though. Like,
They did.
and then
It was good.
him and Mello, which it seems like
We'll
that's where they're
ball.
going to go. Yeah, that will ball. But like, yeah, you're not what you said was not wrong.
Getting into it though, like I said, opening with Priest and whatnot, Pretty Deadly and Fraxim have a good fucking match. Fraxim, another tag team, just making their tag team division
Yeah.
over the top. We get the Nia promo where Nia's basically John at Tiffany, kind of like kind of setting up what they have done before. The whole
Right.
when she cashed in and whatnot. The only difference is that like we get Jade enters into the championship scene. Which if Jade's there, Naomi and the caution tape is not too far behind.
Mm-hmm.
And this pretty much sets up the main event tonight, which is Tiffy and Jade versus Nia and Naomi. I'm not mad at like what they're doing here because I believe there is something that we could be venturing into. But we'll get there in the main event. Aleister Black versus Miz, we just mentioned it. They had a fire match. This was it was solid.
Yeah.
I
So
I did like the skull crushing finale reversal into the cartwheel was dope. I forgot about Aleister lifting people up with his foot and that falls into the black mass. Like it's cooking.
yeah,
It's simmering right now. It's not cooking yet, but we're simmering into something that can be dope.
he's getting back into
'Cause
the ecosystem. He beat any washed allegations. I mean, most of that was coming from trolls. People who get upset when someone else goes to the opposite
yeah,
show and
like
shit.
bro, like he said he was healthy. I think there's an interview came out where he's like, I'm healthy. I feel good. I feel like I got at least 4 or 5 more years in me.
Yeah.
I don't think he said it, but it might be stem cells. It could be good therapy. It could be whatever. But like he's feeling good, and that's all you could ask for. It looks like it's setting up Carmelo and him, which should be a fire match. I was trying to think, was Carmelo there with Alistair? There was
He might have been like in the
like
PC, but
young.
yeah, he might have been like in the PC, like just starting to lift weights and shit. But like they weren't on NXT TV together. By the time
Yeah.
Carmelo was on NXT TV, Alistair was or he was Malachi at that point, I believe.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm assuming Carmelo was in the PC because they I mean, like we talked about in the news segment, like they have a lot of people in the tuck that we don't see, like whether they're even if they're not on Evolved or LFG, like there's a lot of NIL signings or a lot of whatever that like they're just like we still have not seen Hikuleo or whatever his name is,
Right.
there's a lot of people just in the truck or in the tuck, they're wearing that gray shirt, property of a whatchamacallit, and like they're working out and they have not gotten TV time, so that's another reason why there's a revolving door. So, but I would have to assume he was at least in the PC at the time.
Fair. We get like Zelina has a match against Piper. They got to change her music first off. There's no pop there with her music. She had a pretty solid match. It was a long match too. But I love her photos that she did outside of the WWE, like the ones that she put out with the title. She was getting those off. Those were fire.
Got to. You never know when you're gonna get another title. I'm getting and that's not even a shot, but like no, like if I won a title of any kind, I'm taking all the photo edit, like I'm taking all of it. I'm getting my naked shot, my HBK shot. I'm getting that photo edit that she had on the bike. Like I want it all. I want an anime gear. I need everything. Yep. Yeah. And she also took the thing to her dad's memorial, which was fire. It was nice. It was sweet.
There's a quick little promo backstage where Aldis is talking to Solo and Jacob and whatnot about the number one contendership for the United States Championship. He announces that the triple threat will happen originally until Solo mentions that, well, I thought Drew was like the triple threat, or Drew was the number one contender, my bad. And he's like, you're right. How about a fatal four-way? And then Jacob's like, I don't care how many people you put in. It's going to be GG's. So we get a fatal four-way. You could add
2 more people. Hell, you could add 3. Hell.
It don't matter. So fatal four-way Backlash. Jacob, Priest, LA Knight, and Drew McIntyre should be a fucking banger.
Man,
that should be no-brainer.
Yeah, that should be absolutely fire. Yeah. Yeah, I have nothing else good. I'm looking. I'm actually looking. I'm looking very forward to that match. Assuming, especially it gets a appropriate amount of time and whatnot. I think that it should be the best match of that show. If not, in my opinion, Lyra and Becky, and that's only because I know what those 2 ladies can do. But I also know I know what these 4 men are capable as well. Yeah, it just depends on how long it lasts. Like, is Fatu going to be gassed? Is LA Knight going to miss the elbow drop or something?
You in that spot, you gotta let him live, yo.
Yeah, I mean, he hasn't missed in a while. Like I said, he's in Mania for
pay-per-views. He don't miss.
Yeah, he's Black Mass LeBron right now. No, I fucks with it.
Yeah. Main event was Nia Jax, Naomi, Tiffany Stratton, Jade Cargill. Immediately hands and feet. Everybody finds their appropriate opponent. And they start going fucking crazy with the grabs. Tiffy's throwing Nia into the steps and shit. Like it's some pretty not hardcore, but just a little aggressive off the rip, and it should be. These people don't like each other. Speaking of don't like each other, there's a couple blind tags between Naomi and Nia, where like earlier in the show there was like not a podcast, dork. There was a promo where they're like, "Hey, you better stay out my way." No, you stay out my way. Like I'm different. Like Naomi's whole thing now is I'm not the same person that y'all can just talk to and push around. Y'all better watch him out because everybody's liable to get popped. And so there's that moment where they're bickering between the tag. Jade hits a fucking dope chokeslam on Naomi here. She has a good fucking powerbomb in here as well, which actually wins the match. There's a moment where Naomi got knocked down and Nia drags Naomi to the corner so she can tag herself in. Just a whole bunch of disrespectful shit happening, but I loved it. I did enjoy this match entirely. Jay gets the win here with the pin. After the referee goes to hand Tiffy her belt, Jade ends up interfering and grabbing the belt, and the crowd boos immediately. Like, hey, we see that what you're trying to do here, but we not fucking with it. Give Tiffy her shit back.
Yeah, it was unnecessary. I don't know. Like, yeah, that was unnecessary. I don't know if that was supposed to happen. I'm assuming it was. It was like Tiffany. Like all the crowds like Tiffany.
Yes.
They I don't know. They like her. She still has a lot of work to do as a face, but as of right now, the crowd loves her. The Tiffy time thing is over. So doing something blatantly like that, to me, like, I don't know, to me, it's common knowledge that Jade would have gotten booed if she would have just like snatched the shit out of like Tiffany's hands or whatever. Like, to me, that's common.
Yeah.
Like, that's just a weird thing. If that was like in the script, or not in the script, but if that was produced or those, like, that was a planned thing, that to me, that was just ill-advised.
And I think like I don't know. And it would make more sense if it wasn't, because what follows is that Naomi ends up smashing into both of them, and Naomi picks up the belt and she gets the booze, which is fair because she's the heel. Like, it doesn't matter, if they cheer for Naomi, we want them to boo her. So Naomi holds the belt up, and that's how the show ends. But I believe you said you had like a theory on what was being done here. What was the theory about the 4 women?
Oh, I don't necessarily have a theory per se. It's just that like right now these are the top 4. Because I guess Charlotte is down on the power ranking scale, and I was kind of just wondering if we were going to get another fatal 4, if they're going to give us 2 fatal 4-ways, or like because right now there's only 4 matches announced for Backlash. I'm assuming one of them will be this women's title match, since EO's isn't on the line. But then again, it's like, yeah, do you not put EO or Rhea on this card? But also Naomi and Tiffany and Jade, like I don't know. So yeah, no, I didn't necessarily have a theory. I just thought that them showing who the current top women are on this particular brand is cool, and like who those 3 women are, and those 3 out of those 4 women is Naomi, Jade, and Nia Jax, who 3 women of color as well. We know Charlotte's still in the tuck. They can always do trades, and they can always do some call-ups as well. But I thought it was a nice ending to the show, and also just a nice way to let us know. I was like, all right, these are the title's going to these 4 women are going to rotate around this title, not rotate the title, but like they're going to be in an orbit of this title.
In orbit of
Yeah, and the way that they could have done it better is like because that title spot happens all the time, where it's like all that had to happen is that the title was on the floor. Jade picks it up first, looks at it longer than she needs to. That's how you do that spot. So it's like, I don't know that. Yeah, again, that shit was weird to me. But yeah, Naomi ending tall, that was dope as hell. Like Naomi stands, stand up.
We didn't talk about it. Yeah. Like her entrance video, her entrance music change, like they're going full throttle into like the whole caution thing, and I really love this like gimmick for her. It's her now.
Yeah, no, I think she's doing like she hasn't, and she stated herself like she hasn't really had the opportunity to do this, which is why that Jade match at Mania was so important. Like this is like, besides it being just 2 black women, it was a non-title feud in like 19 years, and it's like this is Naomi's first time like being able to like sink herself into a character. She's not just like, oh, I can dance and I glow. Like she's actually sinking, like creating a persona and like a like an identity based off this character. So this is a chance to show something that she's always had that she just never necessarily got the opportunity for.
Yeah,
and I'm happy for it. I will. There were, I don't know if they were real, but there were some screenshots of the potential Money in the Bank winner. And as of right now, all I'll say is it's looking Naomi heavy, but we'll see when they get there. Because someone made a custom brief. Again, I don't know how legit it was, but there was screenshots of a custom briefcase that had caution tape on it, and someone was like, "Oh, they're pretty much telling us who's going to win." And I'm like, "Well, if that's who wins, then I'm here for it." But also, I think Naomi she's a vet enough to where I don't think she needs the Money in the Bank briefcase, but also anytime she's in the match, I still vote for her. So yeah, I'm here for it.
That's a good idea, or not idea, but thought process right now. Like, who would be your choice to win Money in the Bank for the women? So, like, who is somebody that's like simmering right now that's not really in anything that would make the most sense?
Naomi.
And I think that's pretty much it. I think Naomi's the clear choice answer. I think what you shouldn't do is Rhea or Charlotte. I think you're gonna piss some people off if you do it. It shouldn't be Becky either. Keep them away from that. But they'll probably be in the match for sure. But like,
one of them probably will be. But we don't need too many vets. Like, you need like 2 vets, and everyone else can be new-ish or whatever. Like,
give me Naomi. Close second, Chelsea.
Yeah. Those. Yeah, absolutely. Because I wanted Chelsea last year, and I wanted Naomi last year. Those are my top 2 last year. So yeah, those would be my top 2 this year as well,
for sure.
Unless they get Alba to start heating up. Unless they start heating up Alba. Yeah, I'm trying to think who else on the. Yeah, no, those are the only ones that make sense as of right now.
Yeah, we'll talk about that as it gets closer.
Roxanne.
I was going to say that. Roxanne. I didn't know like if Roxanne and Julie were officially a part of like the main roster. I saw that they gave them like the patches and whatnot, which kind of signifies that that's your debut. But they haven't said that they have been called up officially yet.
Yeah, no, there's not an official render. There was supposed to be a draft sometime after WrestleMania, but there hasn't been any news on that either. But I would have to assume that they are called up. But then again, Roxanne's been quote unquote called up since before Survivor Series, so
it's true.
Who knows?
We'll find out. All right, but people, that was the episode. Thank y'all for tuning in. Shout out to everybody who's following us, listening to us on, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, YouTube, iHeart. If you're checking in with us on Twitter, BLUESKY, Instagram, TikTok, we are out there. Thank y'all for the support. But yeah, we'll catch you guys in the next one. It's been real. Peace out.
Too sweet. Believe in the wave.